I got another minute to speak about this coronavirus, this Delta version. Is something that I think is really being missed, and it's the mental toll that it takes on you. Um, of the 6 people that I interviewed who would allow me to speak about the mental side of it, coronavirus messes you up mentally. You hallucinate like you wouldn't believe. You nightmares. I have never in my life had nightmares the way I had in the heart when I was actually suffering the worst coronavirus. I had nightmares, and you can't get rid of them. They keep coming back. Now, here's another thing. A friend of mine says he was actually depressed for 6 or 7 days. He was clinically depressed. He said, I've never been like that in my life. My wife, for example, just lost all caring. She didn't give a crap about anything. Now, here's a woman who is the most caring, kind, loving human being who, when she fell sick, couldn't give a crap about anything. And I mean nothing. She says, she had to admit, she says, when you went to hospital, I felt nothing. When you were sick and going through your worst time, I felt nothing. But it's not just you I felt nothing about. I felt nothing about anybody or anything. It's almost like your will to live just gets sucked out of you. From my side of it, I started hallucinating and I started having thoughts. We know when there's pain and the pain won't go away. I found myself looking at the pain meds that had morphine in them, and they were right next to my bed. I started looking at them thinking, if I just take a handful of those, this pain is going to go away. Okay? I started thinking to myself, at home, if I've got a firearm, you know that just one firearm, one bullet, one moment, just lying down in the bath and just, this is all going to stop. And then once you've got the pain meds and stuff, and eventually you start thinking rationally, you know the pain's going to come back. You know you're going to go through this again. But all of a sudden you had this thought that you were going to take your own life to end this pain. But you're not that type of person. But when you get into this thing, I mean, to give you an example, when I was at home, my right foot, my leg was just freezing all the time. It just felt like it was freezing. Now, my kids and my wife tells me this, that I walked up to a fire, a gas fire that was in the lounge, and I said, I want to put my foot in the fire because if it's burning, then maybe it won't be cold anymore. I have no recollection of it. I have a friend of mine who did a morning's work at home, a morning's work, emailing, taking orders and stuff. The next day, a client phones him and says, so when am I going to get the order? He says, what order? He had no recollection, none, of doing work the previous day. I sat when I had bouts, oh, by the way, the brain fog, it hits your brain fog. You just, whoa. And not only do you have brain fog and dizziness the whole time, when they give you certain medications to help with the pain, that makes you drowsy. So you are out of it. So when you come back, I remember the one time I came back and I was lucid, and I remember the nightmares, and I remember having these thoughts of harming myself. I went to my wife and I said, take away all my medication, take away all the firearms, take away all the sharp implements, because when this pain thing comes back, I don't know where I go. Okay? I'm telling one of the other, a client I spoke to, she contacted me and says she definitely got post-traumatic stress. She says to this day, she still can't get over it. And she has not had it full blown. She's got over it, I think, about a month. She still has post-traumatic stress. The mental toll that this plays on people's brain, I can't explain this to you. And I think that medical professionals need to start getting psychologists and psychiatrists and people involved when these people are so ill to try and help them through this mental thing. I'll give you a quick story. I know I'm running over time on this one. But I remember that I was in the hospital and everybody in that hospital is just cold and clinical and hard. And I just sat there and I just remembered that there's no kindness. And I did this. I sat there and some physiotherapist was walking around and I looked at the physio and I just said to her, please, can you just show me some kindness? I was in a private hospital. I was going through hell. My mind was playing all sorts of stuff on me. You say that to the doctor, they just literally cuck you out. They literally belittle you when you say anything about that you're scared or anything like that. And this physio came around and I just said to her, I know this sounds weird. I don't even want you to treat me. I just want you to please show me some kindness. And this young girl stood next to me and just spoke to me like I was a human being and spoke me down and tried to explain that my mind, a little physiotherapist. I'm telling you now, the mental thing that this coronavirus plays on you, no matter how sick you get, is serious. And mental health professionals need to be called in from the get-go, because I think They are as important as the actual medicine that these people are trying to give us. Okay, listen, that's my rant. I hope that helped. I really do. Okay, listen, stay safe.